Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
But Mike Elgan is here, our news director and host of TNT Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1900 UTC, your daily dose of tech news. And he has the last... People, it's funny, we've been saying Nokia Lumia, and people saying, no, it's Microsoft now. No, this one's still branded Nokia.
That's right.
The last one.
The last of the red-hot Nokias. This was announced September 4th. The first Microsoft non-Nokia Lumia was announced today, basically. That was in the news this morning. But this is an interesting phone, a very interesting phone.
It's Windows Phone.
Oh, yeah, it's in Windows Phone 8.1. It's $99 with a 2-year AT&T contract, $450 unlocked. This comes with a free Fitbit Flex, believe it or not.
That's a good deal.
Now. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. I'd rather have the Microsoft Band because it's newer, but there it is. And yeah, it's a really interesting price. And it's interesting for people outside the U.S. and a couple of countries because this brings Cortana to Australia, India, and Canada.
That's the speech recognition system.
That's right. It's the Siri-like or Google Now-like virtual assistant, and so they'll be looking forward to that. It's essentially a re-imaging of the Lumia icon. It's thinner, and it's a very nice phone. Let's just go through the hardware a little bit. The first thing you notice about this, you think it's a mid-range or maybe a low-end to mid-range phone, but it feels like a high-end phone because this is all metal. This whole rim around the outside is metal. There's some plastic pieces here for the antenna, and of course there's this Nokia-style thing on the back, the Retina Searing Green. Also has black and white and orange, but this will burn your eyes forever.
It's bright, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're on a desert island and you need to be rescued, this will do it pretty much. So this particular one came with both the green and the black. I went with the green because it's just so insane. Now
well, there's no confusing it with any other phone, I guess. You know?
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all. So this is an interesting material. It's a polycarbonate, of course, and this is similar to the other Lumia phones, but it's very kind of grippy, but it's not too grippy, and it's really nice. I like it a lot. So, okay, so the screen on this is a weak spot. We have to mention that it's a 5-inch IPS display, right? So one of the things that I want to show here, and I've verified that this is showable here. So like a lot of phones, this screen in general goes toward the yellow side. The whites are off. The sort of yellow-orange. Some people described it as off in other ways.
That
but
seems to be a
off.
symptom of IPS displays.
It is, but look at how, watch it turn so almost brown to blue.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Yeah, and if you look at it straight on, you can never get a good clean white.
Yeah.
And that kind of bugs me. So the screen is a weak spot on this. A strong point is the camera. So this is a 10 megapixel pure view rear camera sensor, and it's a great camera. One of the things I like about the this whole platform is the fact that you have this incredible manual controls. Now, if you were to go head-to-head with, say, an iPhone with this, the automatic controls, even though it's a lower resolution, with the iPhone as a lower resolution, the iPhone would probably take better pictures. But look at this. With Nokia camera, you can set this, if you're like of a super low light situation, you can set the shutter speed to 4 seconds. You have to have a tripod or some sort of stabilization.
But the fact that you have capability is amazing.
I just love
Same
this.
Same thing with the ISO.
Yeah.
With the can you set the aperture? Yeah,
you can set all this stuff. So the combination
it's like
of
a manual camera
app plus the quality of the camera means that this is a great camera. Usually a camera with a great screen, great screens and great cameras more or less go together. This has a lousy screen but a great camera. So if you're into photography, if you're a photography nerd, this is actually a really nice camera in this sort of mid-range price range.
All the Lumias, this is the 8.1 camera. This is the Cyan camera.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
It's very good. Now, the front-facing camera is lousy. It's 0.9 megapixels. So this is a blast from the past. You don't want to use it, basically.
You know why? Because they have another one that's the selfie camera.
Yeah,
they have
right.
So
go buy that one if you want to take selfies. Yeah. So it's a mixed bag in that regard. Of course, video is terrible on this.
Yeah.
It's kind of laggy, and you're not going to get really super good video. It maxes out at 1080p, but it's a very slow sort of video. Okay, so it's 16 gigabytes of storage is the minimum and the maximum. It's the only amount of storage you can get. So if you're really into lots of storage, this is not the phone.
How much
for
is
you.
free? Do you know after the Windows and system? Because that Windows phone
I don't know, but typically Windows Phone takes up a bit. So I'm like a gig and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So
Less
you're not
than
going to get all
16
16
available. Yeah.
That's right. It has the Microsoft Sensor Core pedometer and NFC built in. It's got an easily accessible micro SD slot. You have to peel off this. It's easy to peel off and put back on. I'm not going to do it
That's
now.
nice, though. I like that. Can you take the battery out?
You can take the battery out. It's a 220 milliamp per hour battery, and it's swappable. So if you like to swap batteries, it's nice, and it's a good battery. You don't need to swap it. You'll get more than a day of normal use. So the battery is not a weak spot by any in any sense. Now, I mentioned that the front-facing camera is terrible, but there's an app called Lumia Selfie, which basically will automatically, you can use the rear camera to take a selfie. So you set up Lumia Selfie, you turn it around, and it'll take a picture of your face, it'll recognize your face, and so on. So that's a sort of one kind of like way to get around that problem. Now, just in general, the pros are this feels solid. I think that's an important feature. If you have a cheap, plasticky, flimsy-feeling phone, it just ruins the whole experience. This will not feel flimsy. It's got Gorilla Glass in the front. It's got all kinds of great camera tricks, and the camera itself, the hardware is great. It's got optical image stabilization. Even the iPhone 6 doesn't have that. 6 Plus does have it. 6 doesn't have it, and this one has it, which is really quite amazing. And it supports wireless charging, and that, of course, is an option. You don't get the wireless charging dock out of the box. The cons are that the screen isn't great. There's a long out of the box with this phone and all phones like this is horrible. You pull it out, you got to download a bunch of stuff, you have to sign up for things, you have to go through this long, arduous process to get it up and running, and that's very different from the out of the box for an iPhone or some Android phones. And you know, the camera is kind of on the slow side. There is no tap to focus, which I find pretty vexing. The autofocus is okay, and it kind of comes and goes, but it's not great in terms of focusing, especially given the quality of the iPhone focusing, which is really fast and really good. So focusing is not great, but again, overall, the camera is great, and of course, video quality is not so great. However, having said all that, Leo, I would give this a buy simply because at this price, with this quality camera and this build quality, you know, it's reasonably good performance. This is a phone that's going to make people happy, and I think that it's a great phone if you're looking for a Windows phone.
Let's clarify, it's 2,200 milliamp hours, not 200.
Yeah, that's right. Did I say 200? 2,200.
I think you left off the 20.
That's
so
right.
just so everybody knows.
That's right, 2,200.
Yeah, that's about right for a phone that size. Same as the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.